And that guy ended up going insane because of it. Aleister Crowley then started practicing it, and he actually became enlightened with a lot of knowledge.
Mr. Crowley. Bum, bum, bum.
He's welcome to the Mystic Podcast. Here with my brother Tommy Nine Toes and my brother from another mother, Jace.
What's going on, folks? Gonna have an episode 10.
I know, it's crazy. We're talking about the demon mirror, said to be held in the Vatican vault.
We got some other stuff to talk about too, but we'll start with the demon mirror.
This is where we begin.
Well, we'll start with the demon mirror, and I'm sure we'll jump the rails and we'll go to another subject. But we're starting to get lively here with the demon mirror.
You know, some say that looking in the mirror shows you your astral body or your energetic blueprint, which is why some priests were driven mad after gazing into it.
What, to the demon mirror?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can believe it. You start messing with stuff you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get
see
bad things are going to happen. It's just like Ouija boards. You don't.
Yeah, if you're not
with
prepared,
Ouija boards,
and you do.
No, you don't. You just stay away. JC, how much fun is it to mess with a Ouija board? He'll tell you.
If you don't respect and know what you're dealing with, then I would suggest you don't. But they're nothing more than the freaking any of the other apps or doorways to the other side than anything else, which can also go bad.
Did we lose JC?
No, he's there.
He's there, but can't hear him.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Can't hear you, bud.
Hello, is there anybody out there?
JC.
It's because he's not wearing a hat.
That's right.
You were fine.
Somehow I got muted.
Imagine
Click
that.
on anything and it's muted on the screen.
I was saying that you shouldn't mess with Ouija boards.
Yeah, I was telling you how great they are, and I stay completely away from them because those things trick you. They play tricks, and I don't.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
them. Yeah, I don't like them.
Spirit communication in general, you are subject to that. That's why you have to know what you're doing.
JC used to tell me about how he'd have bad dreams, and he'd have shared bad dreams with another friend of ours. And then one day he had the Ouija board. He just showed it to me. We didn't mess with it. He just showed it to me. I started having bad dreams.
I keep expecting that thing to show back up because it showed up. I got rid of it twice, and it showed back up. Last time I saw it was in my I was at my grandma and grandpa's house after they were gone, and I was getting my things out of that room, and there's an old box. I had two boxes on top of each other in the closet that I never messed with. They were empty. And I just moved them just to make sure that there wasn't anything in them at all. Guess what was in one of them?
The Ouija board.
Yeah, I left it down by Fort Scott in a garage at my best friend's house because he wanted it. So I left it there, never touched it again, and it's there.
Dude.
Ouija board is just a tool like any other tool.
Yeah, and I got it from it came from a friend of mine. Him and his brother brought it. I was over at their house and they were messing with it. They said it was their mom and dad's. And the story they gave me when they're all like, you tell how Ouija board stories or whatever when you get around it. They're telling me when the older brother was born, he was still in the stroller or whatever. And I guess his mom and dad were using it in the kitchen on the table. And it told him to take the baby and run. So they kept saying it. So they decided to go for a walk with Kevin. And they took him down the street or wherever. When they came back, it was gone. And they're a military family, so they moved around all over the place. And I guess when the younger brother was a teenager, it just showed up in their house. And so he was using it with Kevin. And then after I was using it, they told me I could borrow it because I was all interested in it at the time. So I took it, and me and my friends started having problems with it. So we tried to get rid of it, and it came back to his house, and so we put it in the garage and didn't mess with it and left it in the garage. And or no, we were going to school in Lee Summit, and it disappeared on us in Lee Summit. We didn't know where it went. And when we moved back, because we were staying at his aunt and uncle's house together and going to school out there because our parents or whatever, they let us stay. They let us do this. So this is just the year before I met Tom, and we were using it in the living room, and it told us kind of the same thing, to get out or something like that. So we went to a friend's house, came back, and we left it in the living room, and it was gone. And then it showed up in the his garage at his dad's house when we were down there. I was down there visiting him, and we went out because I had left a bicycle there, and I was thinking about grabbing it. We went out to go get my bicycle, and we saw that his little brother had taken it apart and was selling parts of it to his friends.
Oh, the bike.
Yeah. And then we look over on the workbench, and that Ouija board was sitting there.
Yeah.
And then we left it alone. We didn't touch it. And then there was one in my bedroom for some reason. I guarantee you it wasn't my grandma and grandpa's or anybody in that family.
Yeah. I guarantee it wasn't your grandma. Your grandma was pretty religious.
No, they're all religious, so they wouldn't be mad at me if I would have brought it in. They wouldn't have let me bring it in.
All right.
That one time he said to goes, "Oh, here's the Ouija board I was always been telling you about," and he just showed it to me and he put it away. It was like a 5-second look. And that night and for like a week, I had these jacked up dreams and they were like horrifying. It's like, dude, no.
So there's some theories about this demon mirror. Maybe it's forbidden technology. Like a dimensional interface. It would be reason that interests me is just because of what's going on now, and now this all of a sudden surfaces again.
Right. And the thing is, what the notes that I took or that I had, found everything on this thing, this John D guy could scry with it. So he could scry,
Well, that's a different mirror. But
he says that
it's not the demon mirror. The demon mirror is in the Vatican, and John D had his mirrors in the British Museum.
Okay.
But they're saying that it's possibly the same type of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, he used to scry for Queen Elizabeth I with it. Yeah, back in the 1500s.
Yep.
Some say that it's a psychic weapon and it can be used to destabilize people by showing them, your worst nightmare or, distorted visions of you or, just
I can see that.
your brain. Well, that would feed into what happened to this Edward Kelly.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing is,
Edward Kelly was the one who was documenting all this stuff for John D.
He was John D's medium.
Yeah, and he would document it all, and he wrote all about the Enochian keys and all that stuff, and he wrote it all down. And then I think he went crazy a little while after. Wasn't it after John died?
I don't know that much. I don't know that part.
I can't remember for sure. It's been a while since I was reading about him.
But he did go mad. He did go crazy. But then again, you have Aleister Crowley who did not go crazy. He became enlightened and learned a lot of knowledge and,
but
allegedly developed his moral code through it.
Aleister Crowley, though, he was more, he might have been more, in tune with the occult. He might have been more learned more, studied the occult more than this other guy did, because he probably was like, what the heck?
More prepared to see what he was seeing. So the third theory is it's a tool of revelation, like a truth mirror. This is a concept found in ancient texts, which shows absolute truth stripped of language or context. And this can cause madness. It could cause liberation, but it could also cause death, depending on the seer's level of soul development. So that kind of fits in.
Right. Yeah. I tell you, it's like what have they got in that vault? At the Vatican.
Oh, I have a list.
Yeah, they got
Um,
lots of stuff.
I
It's
mean,
a
is it
short
like
list.
Warehouse 13? You remember that TV show on Sci-Fi, Warehouse 13,
I
which
do.
basically
Yeah. Where is
had
that?
all the different artifacts and stuff, kind of like the
Where
librarians.
the list?
I think the Vatican has like this either the spear that they shoved into Christ's ribs or a shard from the cross or something. One of those.
Well, they probably have part of the Spear of Destiny, is what I think of what you're talking about, where they shoved in the ribs to
Yeah.
make sure he's dead.
Yeah.
So I have a very short list of some main things. Yeah, there's like allegedly like as big as the Vatican is, it is. So it's huge. But it supposedly has the chronovisor. The chronovisor is a device that allows viewing of the past and of the future. It supposedly has various books that are allegedly penned by certain demons and certain fallen angels.
Oh yeah.
Like in their penment, like penned by them.
Like how the Mormons claim.
They allegedly have a skull of a Nephilim and possibly this demon mirror.
Well, the thing is, I feel like they should be the ones who have that, in a sense.
I don't know, man. Look at, as much as they put out their PR that the Vatican does all this great stuff and they're good people, look at everything that they've actually done and kind of re-examine what the Vatican does.
Well, would you want something if those things are real and they're out there? They do the things that people say that they do. Do you want some person like a Kim Jong-un having control of something like that? I mean, think about Hitler.
DJT.
I don't know. I wouldn't know what the right thing to do with something like that is, but it's. I don't know that the Vatican's the right place for it either. I mean, at least it's not hurting anything, I guess.
They keep a secret for however many, hundreds of years.
Yeah, and I also believe that they found stuff at the bottom of Solomon's temple during the Crusades, and they got it out of there, and they put it somewhere. So,
and
the Vatican probably knows where they put it.
Talk about the Library of Alexandria.
Yeah, that's our greatest loss, I think, that we ever had.
But did we lose everything?
Probably not. I'm sure they raided it.
And where was that stuff taken?
Probably straight to the Vatican.
Yeah. As far as we know, that's when the Vatican started.
Technically, they could have taken pretty much everything out of that library before they set it on fire.
The fire afterwards.
Yeah, because after the fire is going, who knows?
Yeah, because we know how fire works. It's going to start here, but you've got time to get some stuff out.
Yeah. Well, of course they didn't just run in and light everything on fire. I'm sure they poked around looking for treasure.
Probably found what they thought was important and took it, and then said, "Torch it."
Allegedly, this mirror has a humming like a low frequency beacon.
Well, what I want to know is who saw it and documented all this.
Well, it's periodically consulted by those at the highest levels of spiritual power. So
like the Masons.
Man.
Like
our
the
dad
Pope.
and grandpa were Masons.
Like the Pope. Okay. And then who are he's got two people. We've got the Black Pope, we've got the White Pope, and then we've got the people that are directly underneath him.
Yeah. Nobody ever, like most people don't even know about those other popes.
We got the Chicago Pope.
He is the Pope.
The Bears.
He is the Pope.
I'm waiting for him to come out there in one of his sermons and go, "The Bears."
I know in witchcraft, obsidian mirrors are highly favored. Obsidian spheres are highly favored.
So is that what you use to scry people?
You can. Yeah, you can. Water.
That's what she uses to curse you with all your problems.
Probably.
Nah, he does a good job all by himself. He needs no help from me. But yeah, so they're highly favored in many practices, many traditions. You know, the obsidian. Number one, obsidian is specific. It's volcanic glass.
Yeah.
I have raw obsidian. I have a friend named Wes, who he's kind of a gypsy. He travels, he lives in his van, but he goes to places like Colorado and Arizona and he digs up rocks and he sells them. And he has given me, I've got big chunks of obsidian with the dirt still on it.
Start polishing it.
No, leave it alone. Leave it just like it is. You know, but obsidian is a you know, is that not, did you guys watch?
No.
Hang on, I always have my memory is getting so bad. The show, the movie, the dragons, Mother of Dragons.
That sounds like something from the Game of Thrones.
What was the series?
Yeah, she's talking about Game of Thrones.
Yes. And the wall, and they could only kill them with the obsidian knives that the dragons.
Oh, you're talking about the wraiths?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't call them wraiths. They called
White
them
Walkers.
White Walkers.
White Walkers.
Yeah. But obsidian knives, that was the only thing that would kill them.
Yeah.
So obsidian is known for its, well, it's just like malachite. Malachite is only found in one place, and it's glass that was formed by a meteorite hitting the earth, and the heat of it created this green tinted glass. And it has, now, in my feeling of all of it, this is stuff made by primordial power. And when we talk about primordial power, we talk about the sun, the moon, the planets. You know, these are the first powers, okay?
Right.
So they're primordial powers. And they are the most powerful things, and they are the most potent things, and they are all they're everywhere. You cannot do anything without them being involved. So these powers don't necessarily do good things or bad things, though. These powers don't work that way. But what they will do is they will boost whatever energy you are letting go. So in other words, when the sun's having all these G4, G5 storms we're getting hit with over the past week, if you are someone who's really anxious and really, it's going to make you more anxious.
Well,
if you're a Debbie Downer, it's going to make you a worse Debbie Downer. If you're one of these positive people, it's going to make you even more, you know, excruciatingly positive. You know, it's just going to boost what you do or what is happening to you. So we use these in the craft to boost what we're doing. You see what I mean? So I know to this day, these things are used. Hello?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to it.
Right. You know, it's like, I mean, the malachite, you know, it's like you hear about that. I mean, that's over. You get a lot of those glass out there in Egypt, right? Because they have
no,
like that.
Malachite's only found, I want to say it's not the Ukraine. Hang on.
Arkansas.
No. You can get obsidian. That's volcanic.
Yeah.
Right.
Malachite is only in one place on the planet. Tell me where. Tell me where.
I thought you were talking about the glass that they find out there in the Egyptian in the Sahara.
I'll look that up here in a second.
That's nuclear glass.
Oh. From the bomb that went off on the peninsula there.
Well, like the glass they find in Mesopotamia.
Right.
Malachite's not the right stone. What is the name of that stone? Is malachite? Malachite's not the right stone. Okay.
Maybe
Stone
it's gravestone.
made by stone made by
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of it either.
it starts with an M.
Yeah.
Stone made by a meteorite. How do you spell that? Meteorite.
Meteorite.
Hang on. Moldavite.
Never heard of that.
Moldavite. See, I was wrong. When I said it the first, I thought, why do I feel like that's not right? But it's only found in Germany. And it's moldavite, and it's a blue-greenish silica projectile glass formed by meteorite impact in southern Germany 15 million years ago. Moldavite. Okay. Yeah. And I have a little piece of that somewhere too. I have a tiny little piece of that because it's rare. I mean, it's not obsidian is not so rare. I mean, because we have volcanoes all over.
Yeah, like anywhere there's melted rock, you can find obsidian.
But this moldavite is only found there. Period. So it's highly favored as well. However, it does not come, which surprises me as well. It doesn't come with the lore that obsidian does. And you would think it would, being that it's so, centralized. And so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, that doesn't have the, it doesn't have the look of obsidian. Like obsidian's got can be so dark that it's like it has depth to it. It's like evil looking. You know, if you get a big chunk of obsidian and shine it up, it's not gonna look friendly. It's just how black it is. Not that it's bad to be dark black.
I have three of these. He gave me 3 of these.
Start shining them up.
No, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to
carve your name into it.
I'm not gonna mess with it. I want it just like it is.
Did he tell you where they were from?
He got them in Arizona, I think.
Was that in Sedona?
It could have been Colorado. I thought maybe I put my little piece of moldavite in here, but it's not in here either.
Yeah, like if you had like a foot square of obsidian and you polished it into a mirror and then carved some crazy frame around it, it would look. I mean, it would look pretty bad, pretty.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
It'd be cool to have just something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't want to look at it. You don't want to look at it, and then there's some skull guy standing behind you. You know.
Well, let me tell you something. With that obsidian thing, it got me thinking because Shelly and I were talking the other day on the other podcast about how all the earthquakes, the geographical shifts that are happening, and that being connected with the volcanoes, okay, and the sun, and all of these primordial energies going on. That would lend you to believe that obsidian, being an artifact of the volcano, would contain some kind of energetic thing.
As someone who doesn't know much about primordial powers and energies and stuff like that, the thing is, the stuff about, I started, finding out when the age of Aquarius was supposed to start, and I have my ideas about how that's supposed to be done.
And you know what?
Hear me out.
That date moves.
But hear me out, okay? Just hear me out.
Depends on who you talk to.
Anyway, as I was trying to say, so, because I feel like we're in transition, we're leaving Pisces, we're going into Aquarius. It hasn't happened yet, but we're in that process. And I think that basically, and just here talking about primordials, and you're saying all these different things, this geological stuff from the sun and things starting to hit us. It, could it be because of the transition from one age to the other? Because it's based on the stars. So
Well,
I mean,
it's so weird. Like so many things are supposed to be big change right now because you have the Mayans saying that the Mayan apocalypse is coming. Apocalypse just means a big change. It doesn't mean destruction.
You're right. Right.
right.
And then it's the change of the millennium. You got all these things going on, and then it looks like the pole's going to shift, and there's storms everywhere, and it just looked like everything's happening all at once. And I don't know that there's another time. I mean, everybody in their generation thinks, at some point, oh, Revelation's coming. Oh, this is happening. Oh, this is happening. But
I don't
I
think
don't know
we've
that there's.
seen the things we've seen though this time.
Yeah, I don't know that it's been this many things at once.
Right.
Before.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I agree with that.
I honestly feel like we're just in transition. We're going from one age to the other.
I
And
agree
this
with
is what
that.
happens when we
Yeah.
transition.
Yeah. I think
You
we've
know,
heard people talking about it for
Well,
decades.
it would be interesting to look and see, like, if you could date like the Great Flood, if it happened during like a change in the house. Like if it was coming out of, I don't know what it might have been, like cancer or something, and going into something else.
See
Well,
what yeah, I don't know.
Like anytime there's big cataclysms, I wonder if they coincide with these different
it's
ages.
really, because I know Moses was during the age of Aries.
Well, Moses was a Capricorn.
All I know is that Moses, when Moses was doing, when his thing was going on, when he had his time in the sun, there were a lot of the Jewish people were using the goat horns, which is like the Aries.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have been the age of Aries. And I think I think Pisces comes after Aries. I'm not for sure. I would have to look that up. But it seems like every age has their great person. Moses is, kind of synonymous with Aries. Jesus
Did I
is
read what is it Moses that is allegedly he's like a demigod? He's did I read that reason? Or maybe it's Enoch. Maybe I'm thinking of
Enoch and Elijah are the only ones that are
maybe I'm
supposed to be
thinking
alive.
of Enoch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say supposed to be alive, but they're the only ones that
That's who
that
I'm
left
thinking.
to Earth and
Yeah,
didn't come back.
right.
Well, Enoch supposedly became Metatron.
Yeah.
Metatron was
Metatron was the one who showed things to Enoch.
No, that was actually one of the angels.
Yeah, Metatron.
No, what's his name? I read a book about him. Uriel. Uriel's the one who took Enoch and showed him all the stuff, flew him around the world and stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did too, but
and they had to talk about Uriel's machine, which tracking the sun and the different,
Well, I'm pretty sure Metatron was the one that.
No, they're saying, according to some writings, Metatron was once a human named Enoch.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm about to look at that. That's something I never heard.
Some writings.
Right. I mean, everything I've always heard is that Enoch became Metatron. That's because he became the scribe of God.
However, in one version, Metatron was never human, nor did he come from Enoch. Enoch, as Metatron, who are both regarded as divine scribes, is also associated with the Egyptian god of wisdom and writing, Thoth.
Yeah.
And the Greek god Hermes.
Yeah, which makes sense, the Hermetic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it just depends on
just
where
one
you're
letter
coming
difference of
from.
Hermes would have been made fun of for all eternity. The Greek god of herpes.
It just depends on where you're coming from on what their name is. And I've taught that all along. They're all just names.
Yeah.
It's like the same people with different names.
If you think about it, Hermes was the messenger of the gods. Enoch was the same thing. He was God's messenger because he went down and he talked to the giants, the Nephilim, and said, okay, in the fallen angels, and said, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen to you because you did X, Y, and Z. And now we have a bunch of giants rolling around the planet because you couldn't keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah.
What's that?
And so now we got to flood the whole joint because you guys are dumbasses.
Right. We gotta clean the slate. We're gonna break out the hose and we're gonna, I'm
pretty sure that the reason they wanted to get rid of those giants is because they're abominations.
Did you see the TikTok I sent you, Tom?
Which one? You sent me a lot.
Oh, let me. We're gonna have to play that because this
Okay.
falls right along into with that. Well, it follows in with the Anunnaki.
If this is Inky twerking or something, I don't want to see it.
No. This is allegedly a Pentagon release information. Yeah. All right, hang on. I got to get my shit together here. What the hell?
For love of God, Michelle, get your shit together.
Negative. That is not what I wanted. Thank you very much. Give me. There we go. All right. Hang on. Where is messages? Okay. How do I stop that? There we go. Okay, here we go. Activity. Where's Tom? Tommy Nine Toes. Where are you, Tommy Nine Toes? Oh. Here we are. No, you didn't even look at it.
I mean, that's not funny, Tom. You should know better.
All right. Let's hopefully my computer
Note to
won't blow
self,
up in the middle
whenever
of
the sister sends you something, watch it. Otherwise, you'll pay for it on the podcast.
Hey. Okay.
Uh-oh. Who's this feller?
Hopefully, because I noticed last time it wasn't.
An entire military base. An entire military base had their phones taken over for about 2 minutes, saying, "This is the Anunnaki. We are here." Okay. Yeah, you heard that right. Also, this is just for entertainment purposes only. TikTok. There were reports of an entire military base. They were all doing their own thing, and all of a sudden, all their phones, bam, at the same time, with a message on it. Phones were frozen. They couldn't use them. What? Okay. Oh, I'm not really sure what this means, but I guess the Anunnaki are here. Okay. They're here to try to get Earth back to a good state. Because, right
Probably
now
not.
it's a little rough. Okay.
For them.
Is this the Anunnaki?
Yeah,
for them.
Not for us.
Not? We're not 100% sure.
Has to be acceptable for
but
Anu.
it could have been some sort of a hack situation. Let's just hope that this wasn't some sort of a hack situation. Okay, then.
That wasn't the one with the Pentagon. Where's the one? Oh. That's a whole nother one. Trump, Musk, Atlantis, and Martians.
When did you send that to me?
I sent this one. This one I sent to you yesterday. This one I sent to you this morning. But where is the one with the Pentagon? That's the one I'm searching for. Wait a minute. It came up for me. Here it is. You read it. On May 9th.
A number of things that I've heard from people in the Pentagon, that the buzzword in the secret of secrets in the Pentagon is the Sumerian gods are returning, and that's what they're referring to as that whole area.
Wow! Can you repeat that again, just in case anybody missed it? The buzzword
in the Pentagon, in the military circles that are in the know about the cover up here, they kind of in whisper tones talk about the return of the Sumerian gods. And they're talking about the what we would call aliens or fallen angels returning into the Middle East, into Old Sumer area.
The Anunnaki.
Well, could be.
Under the other ancient names. Do you think that has anything to do with why we're in a...
What's interesting about that is Matthew Brown talks about that in that Jeremy Corbell documentary. Right. Yeah. He talks about that.
Well, it would make sense because like their full return isn't scheduled for a while according to the intervals that they usually use, but
6 months.
They would have to send scout ships ahead to prep the area, because if they're militaristic at all, they want everything in order before the leader gets there, because he'll come in and inspect the place.
Right. Yeah. Come in there, get the ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Great.
So they would come and prep at least the area, if not
Because they're going to do some sort of reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, that's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, technically, because they are due. I mean,
Buy your bottled water.
in the not terribly distant future, they are due. So
I'm going to go buy a shit ton of toilet paper. I'm going to get all the toilet paper I can get.
Because you never know.
You never know.
Just keep your garden hose working. You'll be fine.
I just find it. I'm telling you what, you know how I pay attention to certain things, and this Matthew Brown thing got me clicking, and now
it's just another thing on top of stuff, on top of everything.
Another thing on, yeah, and it's like, okay, well, maybe this is real.
It cracks me up because it sounds like crap. The Sumerian gods are back.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Well, that isn't good because
the manager, the CEO's coming to inspect the office.
Right.
Well, their whole history is demanding that we work for them and worship them, and then we fight their arguments out between us while they stand back and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our humans are better than your humans. Oh, yeah? Okay. We'll have a war.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, Bashar says, start being prepared to start seeing weird things. You've got people not only reporting UAPs and weird stuff daily, you've got people reporting portals showing up where they can see.
Yeah. Oh,
portals.
Well, I went to the History Channel. I did get caught up on the Skywalker Ranch stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw
that first episode was badass.
Did you see the scans of the ground where that portal is, and it extends underground, and sometimes it's above the ground, and
yeah, it's like a bubble.
It looks like a wormhole.
Yeah, because it does one of these numbers, but now they've done they've mapped it, and they've got like a bubble, and it goes. Yeah. It's like a dome on the top, and then at the bottom there's like an under part of it.
It's like this big area. It's like a donut. It's a big thick ring, and in the center it's black, and it sometimes it's underneath the ground, and sometimes it comes up, and I don't know what that means.
I haven't seen it yet because I gotta somehow my TV signed me out of Hulu. I don't know why.
That does it after a while. Hulu does that. I
gotta freaking get signed back into Hulu so I can watch it because I can't watch it anywhere else.
But I just went to history.com and just watched it on their website.
Are you paying for history?
No, I mean, you can't watch like the new stuff. Like if you missed a season, you can usually go back and watch it.
Yeah, but this is the new season.
Yeah, like if you for the new season, like if you they'll play it on like Tuesday or whatever, and if you watch it within like a week, it won't be locked.
Really?
Yeah.
History. I've got history on my Discovery Plus. Wonder if I can find it on that.
You might be able to.
Yeah, you should be able to.
I looked and it didn't show up, so I don't know. I'll dig around some more. I got to figure out how to sign back into.
If you go to Discovery or History.com, you should be able to watch like maybe 1 or 2 episodes. I think there's only 2, maybe 1 or 2 episodes out for this season, but you can watch. Like if you missed last season, you could probably watch the whole thing.
No, I'm all cut up. I've been just waiting for the new season to come out.
Well, I know if you go to Max sometimes.
I went on Max and couldn't find anything.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I know Max there's a lot of HGTV stuff on Max.
But I know they buy each other out and sell and.
Yeah.
But it wasn't on Max. I went on Max and looked. I went on Prime. I could get it on Prime if I paid $10.
Right.
It said I could get it on Hulu, so I went over there. I was signed out. So,
I have the History app on my phone.
Yeah, but I was thinking you had to have a History subscription or cable or something in order to watch anything on that.
I'm going to look real quick and tell you whatever they got up right now.
But I thought it was pretty shitty that Prime was going to charge me $10 for the season. But it's like, I'm already paying you. Freaking Bezos.
See something.
I just got to get signed back into Hulu. I think I remember the password. I don't know.
I can get it on the app. I haven't paid for anything on the app.
And you can get the full episodes?
The full episode.
All right, well, I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
And then watch Behind the Gates after that. It's pretty cool. Behind the Gates, they sit there and talk about it, as like a discussion.
See, I watch that stuff on YouTube. Yeah, they've got a bunch of extra stuff.
Yeah, you can watch episode 1 right now on history.com. It's
on the history
it's
on the app. It's called Bubble Trouble.
Yeah, and it's the first episode's up. There's another episode, one of the, I don't know what you call it, like a
behind the Gates.
Yeah, there's another one, but that one's locked. It's like a episode 99 or something.
Oh yeah.
Well, the thing is,
episode 1's unlocked and you can watch it.
Right at the beginning of that episode, they found this piece of ceramic, and it was that they dug out of they got the boreholes. They finally made two boreholes from the bottom to the top. They got to the top of the mesa with the boreholes, and they're going to set up sensors in the boreholes to scan the area in between the two boreholes to try to figure out what's in there. And
ceramic factory.
But they got that ceramic, and they went in there with an electronic. They put it on an electron microscope to look at it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And they turn off the electron microscope, and it started fixing itself.
Yeah, it had a beam that was eating away at it, and then they're like, "Well, let's turn the beam off and see if it stops." And when they turned the microscope back on without the beam, the holes were smaller, and they could watch them getting smaller and smaller.
Here's my issue with shows like this.
Probably the same one I have.
As secretive and guarded as these things are, like they're really going to let a freaking show on History Channel release this deep, dark freaking secret.
Well, my thing is that it is for entertainment, so we don't know for sure that this is,
Yes.
I think some of it, some of those scans and stuff, they might have actually scanned something like that. So I take it about, I don't know, 50 or 60%.
Yeah, I don't know. I just find it hard to believe that they're going to just let something be released on freaking cable TV.
Yeah. Because, I mean, between the time when they found it and got it to the university and got it scanned, got the episode produced and put on the internet and everybody watches it, somebody would have heard about it and came to call it. Because, I mean,
it's real. And so was professional wrestling.
Yeah, like that time when Goldberg won the championship.
Professional wrestling is nothing but soap operas now. It is ridiculous.
I haven't even watched it. I don't recognize any of those people.
I can't even watch it because it's like, what the heck?
The days of the Macho Man are gone, and that was
gone.
Macho Man was the
Macho Man.
Now it's a storyline, and it's just ridiculous.
The creamers go to the top.
Weekly meeting. Hope you're ready.
Here come the Anunnaki. Oh yeah.
They're coming in their ships, and they're coming in with their high technology.
Oh. Don't be a stupid,
ain't gonna matter. I'm gonna come off the top rope
with the atomic elbow, brother.
I'm gonna get all purple nurple.
The Space Ghost.
Yeah.
The Space Ghost episode.
So I couldn't find much about this Mothman sighting in St. Louis. Did you find much about it?
I heard it happened. That's all I know.
I only found like one or two things on the internet concerning it. Supposedly, it's he was seen. I want to say I think the O'Fallon area, which is a suburb.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a town like Lenexa, and Overland Park, in Kansas City. It's like a O'Fallon's like a little suburb town.
I do find it
always have
interesting.
protests and all these problems all the time.
I do find it interesting that this Mothman sighting all of a sudden appears after these people are saying, hey, we're finding cracks in the bottom of the Mississippi. Hey, the New Madrid's going to blow. It's going to crack open the Mississippi. It's going to, and all these things. And now we got the Mothman.
Well, and I've also heard that they saw the Mothman out there in Oregon.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, you didn't know? Mothman's a world traveler. He's a very accomplished man.
But I mean, supposedly, like they've seen that. Like I've heard they've seen it in Arizona, and they've seen it out there in Oregon. They said that they saw creature wings and red eyes. So.
And where else did you say? Arizona? Why in Arizona?
I don't know.
He's probably looking at prices for turquoise jewelry.
That's right. It's hey.
I can really do it. The new
it goes with this. It just goes with Mothman's eyes. Okay.
I don't know. So it could be just hey, let's say we saw. I don't know. So here's my red flags. If 12 people reported seeing him, I'd be looking. We got one random person on Reddit reporting seeing the Mothman in St. Louis. I can't find anything else.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like isn't he usually spotted like on a bridge or something by like one carload of people, and then nobody else sees him?
No, that one was he was living in like those old ammunition caves. What was it? North Carolina or South Carolina? The old 60s, the original story with the kids in the car.
I think that was Virginia.
Flying by. He was flying as fast as the car was going.
That was up in West Virginia.
Okay, West Virginia. And he was.
Yeah, Ian went out there and got pictures taken with the statue of him.
That was when he appeared before the bridge collapsed.
Right.
But it was somewhere else, and he was reportedly living in these like old abandoned ammunition bunkers. So it's like, he's not always by a bridge. He's not always by, it's kind of depends, but that's what I think he's most famously associated with the West Virginia.
They need to make a movie on Sci-Fi where Mothman fights Bigfoot.
Did you ever see the Bigfoot video where he's biting the grizzly?
No.
Let me tell you, let me see if I can find it because let me tell you something. This is pre-AI. This is pre a lot of things.
Prenatal?
Mothman was fighting Sasquatch?
Is it prenatal?
Oh, Bigfoot's fighting a grizzly.
Grizzly.
Bigfoot's about the only thing that could fight a grizzly.
I don't even know if I can find it.
Right, yeah.
1938. Is that right?
He's out there. He's out there with the camera.
Is this okay? No, this is it. Let me bring it up. It's a YouTube video. Hang on, let me
a 1938 YouTube video.
Man, looks like a guy in a freaking suit, but grizzlies are not small bears.
No, they're the biggest.
They're giant guys. I'm gonna play it for you. Hang on.
Grizzlies are the biggest.
Especially that first part. It's obviously, I don't know.
It's a bear in a suit.
It's definitely a real bear. But it must have got to be a really big dude.
It's a bear in a suit, and another bear recorded it to fool us.
Got to be a really big dude. Bigfoot fights grizzly.
Well, grizzlies, I think when they stand up, they're like 12 or 14 feet tall.
Oh, hang on. Bing video.
Aren't they real tall like that?
They're pretty huge. I know them and Kodiaks are two of the biggest bears.
All right. Now, in this first part, obviously it's a guy in a suit. I think. I think.
Right, yeah, it looks like a bear. Or Chaka from Land of the Lost.
Look at his face.
They had color film in 1938.
That looked like
that one wasn't from
38.
That one was from. But there was a newspaper article. There was an incident in. Let me find it. Let me
I'm
get
pretty
rid
sure
of
that
the
was a bear.
video. There was an incident in 1938, and it was written in the newspaper report that Sasquatch did fight a bear. I don't know.
I mean, that'd be a pretty epic fight to watch.
That'd
really,
be a good pay-per-view,
Let me
really.
bring this
yeah.
up. Let's see. Harrison Mills. I don't know what state that is.
State of
Fight for
confusion.
life. Yeah. They call him a skokum, is what they called him. A skookum. Skookum is what they called Bigfoot at that time.
Skookum, huh?
Let me, we would have raised our rifles when we did, but it looked as if they were about to roll over the bank into the river any moment. So it's these huntsmen or
They're
whatever.
probably loggers. Probably what they are.
Jimmy Crane
I
back.
don't know if I believe that, because if they had rifles on them, they would have killed the bear and Bigfoot. Because
Right.
we got a bear and we got Bigfoot. We're awesome.
It was told by the story was told by 3 Harrison River Indians who were spectators of a singular incident one evening last week. Well, not last week, but in 1938, as they were walking along the Chehalis River close to the canyon. It was a skookum fight. And as no one of our little party had ever seen a hairy giant of the Sasquatch in a fight before, I'm telling you, we got the biggest kick of our life. It was a hair-raising fight between savage and brute. We were on our way home after an all-day unsuccessful hunt in the Chehalis Mountains, and we had just crossed the government road at the Chehalis River, a mile or north of the Indian village, when all at once we heard a roar in the forest ahead of us that shook the firs and cedars around and startled the crows and blue jays from their roost. We stopped to listen down the old trail ahead of us, and we could hear groans, growls, thuds, snaps, cracks, rotten branches, as if old Nick himself had gone off the noodle and was running amok. It's total 1938 literature. The hunter said that they were not afraid for their own safety, as each of them carried a rifle. But we were worried that some old woman of the Chehalis might be in the forest digging for roots for baskets and was being mauled by a bear. For bear at this time of the year, lean, vicious, and hungry. In silence, we loaded our rifles and hurriedly, 50 yards or so down the wooded trail, we came upon a sight that made our eyes pop. In awe, we stopped dead in our tracks. In the fading twilight in the shadowy forest, we first thought we were looking at 2 bears. But no, indeed, it was
Skookum.
Yeah, skookum.
Skookum.
And here's the newspaper: a hairy giant Sasquatch and huge black bear engage in mortal combat. 1938 newspaper article.
I find it hard to believe that there's a group of hunters after an unsuccessful day come across a bear and a Bigfoot, and they're like, hold on, let's just go home without anything.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I agree with that kind of. Because bears get eaten, from what I'm told.
Yeah, they were probably hunting for bear. It sounded
and
like.
the fur.
Yeah. Because they sounded like they were looking for bear.
But maybe the whole Sasquatch thing threw them off.
Well, I mean, it might throw you off for a few seconds, but after about 5 seconds.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
This sucker's going on my wall.
Right.
So what do you think about that Bigfoot sighting in Kansas? JC was probably not privy to that because he's not on Facebook Messenger.
Up there, if it's the same place, if it's up there in North Topeka, like they had that before.
Did they?
Know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up there by 75. US 75, I believe, that runs up north. And because I've taken that road many a time with Mike Laddish going to Thunder Hill Raceway. There's a dirt up there in Marietta.
Out there now.
Supposedly there's a Bigfoot out there in
Somebody
Kansas.
saw one. Somebody
Topeka.
reported one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be on Facebook Messenger without being on Facebook. Did you know that, JC?
No.
Have you
You're
ever seen
killing me,
Guardian?
Smalls.
Michelle, have you ever seen Guardian of the Galaxies Volume 2? You ever see
I've
that
seen all
movie?
of them. Yeah, I've seen all of
Okay,
them.
you know where Groot's like about, so big, he's real small, and he's kind
Yeah.
of it's JC, when it comes
I am
to
Groot.
messenger. He's not.
But I did find that interesting. Is there a river down there, or it's like, what is the
Well,
landscape down there?
you have basically you've got the Potawatomi Indian tribe to the north.
Okay.
Or no, is it Kickapoo? It's either Kickapoo or the Potawatomi.
Mm-hmm.
But it's up and down 75. But I mean, it's I mean, it's wooded. It's a wooded area. I'm sure there's probably some kind of stream or something close by. The thing is there's
I don't know.
the thing is it's kind of building up in that area, kind of like what they did in Johnson County. It's like the
Yeah.
new houses and stuff.
I'm just thinking migration. I'm thinking trackway. I'm thinking,
right.
So and I think they follow rivers.
It could very possibly be because, like in the 90s, like the late 90s, early 2000s, when I was going up there to Mayetta Speedway, before they shut down Mayetta Speedway, that's where Mike Lattice would take his race car up there, and he'd run around the track up there. It was one of the tracks he'd go to. And the thing is they were just building up that northern Topeka area. They were just building those houses, So it's very possible now that there's people there, they're like, oh, hey, there's a Bigfoot going through my front yard,
Right.
Because that's it's a path that they took all the time. It's a game trail.
You live in such good Bigfoot country. I can't believe.
Well, they might have came out this way from Oregon. They might have migrated this way from Oregon just to get away from ice.
What?
You're gonna deport all the Bigfoots on the West Coast.
Yeah. I'm telling you, they're after everybody.
Out there, they're very bad. They're very bad people. We're gonna gather them up and we're gonna ship them overseas.
Yeah, they're just gathering people freaking willy nilly at the slightest. You look slightly off color. It's like, what the hell? Guess what, y'all? We ain't even supposed to be here.
Oh, I'm supposed to be here. I don't know about Tom.
We colonized this place. Colonized this place, took the Indians prisoner, took their land, but we gave them citizenship.
Yeah, it was nice of us. We didn't have to do that.
Right.
What are you talking about?
And it always, I just think, why the Indians they should have just started knocking us out as soon as we walked on the land.
I think they were probably too busy.
Like the
tribe.
They should have. Because I don't have a lot of good things to say about white men. Not white men, but the white man. I'm sorry, I don't. They have proved their character.
Well, everybody, like, it's not just a race. Like, it's happened everywhere in all cultures.
And you are right. The Spaniards, I think, were actually the first people to take African slaves.
Yeah, Spaniards.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, it's everybody's done that to everybody. Like we didn't invent slavery, and matter of fact, we weren't even the ones catching the slaves. It was the Barbary pirates were coming from.
I know.
East.
Yeah, I know. You're right. No, you are right. But
the Barbary pirates came from Libya.
Yeah.
What we did to the Native Americans is atrocious.
Well, I definitely in the 1800s there was unnecessary slaughter of people. And that's just a shitty thing people
and taking their land.
You could take anybody of any race and say, hey, you're in charge of this and we're not even going to monitor you, and they're going to do something bad. It doesn't matter what you put them in charge of, and it's just nature. Like, oh, I'm what do you say? How would you say it? Like, I don't know. People just run amok whenever they get in charge, unfettered.
It's like power. It's like a power thing.
It's hard to find somebody that won't abuse it when they're unsupervised.
It goes back to the Cherokee, and the whole thing with the Cherokee. They found like gold on Cherokee land.
Yeah, that is.
And the Cherokee were like, hey, we've been here. This is our or thing, and the government, the Congress was like, you guys are savages. You don't, you're out there in your
You ever
loincloths and
watch
all this other stuff.
Blind Frog
Well,
Ranch?
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to watch that yet, but I'm
That's
just
the
saying.
premise of that.
Yeah,
Well,
like the 1800s are definitely the worst time for that stuff. And it wasn't the colonizers, it wasn't the settlers, it wasn't them that were terrible to the Indians. I mean, they had fights with them, but the Indians also killed each other constantly. So I mean,
They did war with each other. You're right. You're right.
And it's just the way it works. I mean, you can't expect people in Europe at that time to say, "Hey, there's this whole new world over here we could explore. And then be like, well, there might be people there. Let's just stay away." They're not. Nobody's going to do that.
And I get that. Nobody's going to do that. But you don't come over and rip all the rights away from the native population.
Well, when they got here, Indians thought it was hilarious that these white people thought they could own land because they didn't believe anybody could own the land. So when they wanted to trade them stuff for land, they're like, yeah, sure. So, I mean, they traded for it and they gave it away basically. And it's kind of tricky. Like they tricked them a little bit, but I mean, there's no government, there was no laws, there was no immigration, anything. It was settling. They came to an unsettled place, settled colonies. And that's just the way it has always worked for everybody. And they're anymore it's popular to blame it on one set of people, but it's not just one set of people that do that stuff.
Yeah.
And now everywhere has been settled now. There's nowhere left to settle. So now we're just looking back and picking on people. And I think the 1800s definitely deserve more of the way the military treated the Indians. That deserves to be, that was bad. Yeah. There's no excuse for the way they did that.
I just think that they deserve, even today, they are treated like second-class citizens and they're treated like they're immigrants. And they're not. They were here first.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I worked in Lawrence for a while. I knew some of the people that went to school at like Haskell out there, the Indian college, and a lot of them are really nice. But then if you go to Haskell and you're not invited there by one of them, and he's not there to let you in, they're going to kick your ass just for going there because they don't want you on their. Yeah, like you're going to get tore up. So it goes a little bit both ways because they're not always friendly, and of course everybody that's not an Indian ain't always going to be friendly either because people are dicks. But
well, the whole thing with the Cherokee, Congress told them that they were savages and all this other stuff, and they tried to conform. They came up because they didn't have a written language, so they came up with a written language. They didn't have a newspaper, so they came up with a newspaper, and they even came up with a school system to teach their kids, just the same way as the United States did. And then the United States still considered them savages and stuff. And the thing is Andrew Jackson found gold on their land. They were literally, there was like people to hold up
at that point,
chunks of gold about that big,
Yeah. So it was a done deal. They were going to take it whether they let them or not.
Yeah. So I mean, at that point, they're just like, get off the land, it's ours. And it's like, wait a minute, it's nobody's. The earth is the earth.
And I think soon everybody's going to find out that everything is nobody's.
Well,
really,
except for the Anunnaki.
Really, it's kind of a stupid idea. I mean, you want to set up a home and you want to have your property and stuff, that's great. And for as long as your family can hold on to it, you should be able to. But nothing's going to forever. Land isn't always going to belong to any certain person. It's just not going to.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody's always going to come along and take it.
Yeah, you can buy a $100,000 home, $200,000 home, and once you get it paid off, it's all well and good until you can't pay the taxes. And when you can't pay the taxes, you lose your land, which is
biggest scam on.
Well, ever since we got this place, the rest of the world has wanted to take it from us because it's the best, the best climate, the fertile land. It's really great. It's a really great place that we found here and we made for ourselves. And the rest of the world is like, they want it because, you got people in Africa that can't farm and, they have a hard time with food and the climate's not so great all the time. And they're like, this is a temperate place where you can grow a lot of food. They want it. Middle East wants it for the same kind of reason. Europe, of course, wants it because they feel like they found it and lost it to us.
Right. And there were already people here. Nobody found shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Who knows who knows who was the first people from over there that found it. Because the Vikings came over. I think
the monster's about to kill itself.
The what?
I think they found it because the Vikings were following the Mothman into Hudson Bay.
Mothman got challenged to fight by Bigfoot. Him and the bear were going to take on Mothman.
Exactly.
And the Vikings were like, we gotta see this.
Oh, Leif.
There's a bear in a Bigfoot suit over there. I
don't know. Maybe we should consult the demon mirror.
No.
And maybe it will let us know.
It would probably tell us not true.
Not true at all.
I guess if you consult the demon mirror, so it's like you have to shake it and then a little thing comes up.
Yeah, I think that's how it works.
Is that how it works? You shake it. Am I gonna find beer? Shake it.
Right.
You're doomed.
Looks good.
Who knows?
It always just says you're doomed.
You're doomed.
It's like, give it up. Give it up. All right, let's call it. Let's call it. Good episode. Like and subscribe.
Number 10.
All the things that are all the things. Go like, follow. Everybody look up JC on the internet and send him messages in some form because he loves that.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
He loves getting messages from everybody.
Peace out.
I don't get messages from anybody, and I'm happy.
He wants